Go ahead and Rachel, you can start.
Okay, thank you everybody for joining. Again, my name is Rachel Lopez. I'm also a mentor, very new, one of the newer mentors to Texas United. We just wanted to give some scheduling showing tips when you are working with buyers and you have multiple showings that you're scheduling when you're going out. When scheduling showings, you need to be proactive with gas prices rising. You do and you should plan your trips carefully. Homes, of course, we all know are going off the market quickly. You do need to confirm with listing agents if the home is still available before you go out, before you make the actual showing. That will save you a lot of time. Make sure you're texting the agents if the property is still available. So pre-planning your trip is really big to me. I've been in a lot of situations where you have multiple showings, um, and they come in different confirmation formats, whether they come through your email, your cell phone, text, or you may have jotted one or two down. I feel it's very, very, very helpful if you have a pre-planning notebook with you while you're scheduling. Take it out with you all the time. It has an easy place to find all of the showing instructions. Sometimes you're using just your Supra digital key, and sometimes you're having a 4-digit lock numbers, 5-digit lock numbers, um, even with additional information like alarm instructions for you at each house. So um, being prepared in that pre-planning will save you a lot of time as well, making sure you have your equipment per se at access. So notebook, pen, cell phone. Make sure your cell phones are charged. I know it's simple, but I have been out at a digital Supra lockbox and be fully dead, no charge, and have to wait in the car while your clients are waiting as well, 5 minutes until you're charged just enough to open. So keep your cell phones charged. Also jot down those MLS listing numbers. Makes it easier for you to go back and look up the properties as well. I think next screen, Fernando. Thank you. And I want to show you, we have a couple of examples for you to find where to actually find the agent's numbers and the appointment numbers on your MLS screen. Very important, different ways. Thank you, Fernando. Different instructions that you can go in and schedule your showings. You'll find them here under the listing office information. You'll see you find the agent's phone number, appointment phone number, and instructions. Also check the agent's notes just a little bit further. Some agents, even the property management companies as well, they give listing instructions for each property. So you always want to check here. This one you see, it says occupied home, must accompany buyer to view the home. So occupied home is very, very busy, very, very important when pre-planning. Sometimes you need to give 24, 48 hours notice. So check those notes. I think we have another example we want to show you. So showing will start on Saturday, 11/13. We're 11/11, 2 days out. Super important. Sometimes you won't even be allowed to schedule. Maybe it'd be a block in the system because showings don't start until a certain date. So check those notes again. Thank you, Fernando. So again here, notes, this is more of, it looks like a rental. It just gives you the notes of what their requirements are But here, this is a property management company. Looks like you may find a number, a code in order to get into the property as a go and show. So again, very important.
I said this one says to text the agent.
Oh, that's right. That's right. So some do have everything directly to their cell phone. So check the appointment numbers. Again, texting the agents, just going back to check if there are any offers and if the home is still available to show. Next slide. Just some different ways, some different tips in setting up the appointments. Showing time is a showing service that many agents use. Here's the phone number, jot it down, save it in the cell phone. It makes it a lot more convenient for you to have at hand. Again, listing agent's cell phone when you are texting requests for showings, you will want to provide your name, Texas United Realty, the property address, of course, important, the showing time, not just the time, but how long, if it's 30 minutes or an hour, and your public ID. Your public ID gives the agents notification of who you are, who's accessing the property. Other appointment companies, they will have their own phone number listed there at the same location for appointment setting. There is now also a convenient way to go on to HAR and schedule showings online. I don't know if many of you, it's very, very new, so get familiar with that. I think it's convenient as well. We'll show you how to access that. Just click on the request, an appointment.
My internet is a little
super simple. And there you can pick a date, a time. You have the information again from the agent remarks.
Donna, the number is on the table covered under the plate, okay?
It was just somebody. I muted them. So here you just put start time and end time?
Yes.
And then do schedule?
Correct.
Okay. Now, I think showing smart is, they're going to ask you for a code. Have you used this code, Rachel, before?
No.
Okay. When you log into HAR, it actually assigns you this code. So if you ever, if Showing Smart ever asks you what's your code, they're referring to that. And everybody has a unique code. I think eventually they're going to want to charge for this, but right now it's free. They're trying to compete with Showing Times and all those other companies.
Yeah.
Nothing's free anymore.
And just some additional showing tips. Super key, always make sure your key is updated and ready to use before you go out. Updated means your payment has been made, credit card information is up to date. You don't want to have your key code locked when you're trying to open up a door and have to call showing time services and work with them through that process. It can be 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So always check that your key is updated. Again, make sure your cell phones, your laptop, your devices that you're using are fully charged when you're in the field. Take an umbrella for rain, Houston weather. We never know. I think Fernando hit this on the nail, WD-40.
Yeah, so
When
back in the old days when I was showing a lot of houses, sometimes the lock boxes were like hanging on a gate, and they were like, and these were combination codes that you unlock the lockbox, which contain a key inside. Well, they become rusted. There's like rust on them, and they were so hard to spin the dial for the number. So I learned to bring WD-40, kind of spray the box out, and then it makes them, loose again. I don't know why the listing agent doesn't do that to begin with, but sometimes these properties are like, 2 months listed, 3 months listed, and the agents never show up. Another thing that I learned with WD-40 was sometimes you insert a key. When you insert a key to unlock the door itself, the front door, it was really difficult to spin it, to turn it left or turn it right to unlock the key itself, the lock. So I sprayed WD-40 inside the little where the key goes in, the pocket where the key goes in. And then once I spray it a little bit, then I insert the key and jiggle it, and then it eventually loosens up. And then I just kind of sprayed it really well. And then I never had that problem again. The reason why I learned about WD-40 is because back when I was a young realtor, uh, I had a comment from one of the buyers saying, "What's wrong? How come you can't unlock the house, the door?" And I go, "Well, I'm having trouble." They go, "Oh, aren't you a realtor?" And it made me feel really bad when he said that comment. So I told myself, you know
Well, I
what?
said I think you definitely hit it on the nail. I've been in both situations with no WD-40.
WD-40 is really good too when you spill spaghetti on your white shirts. If you spray WD-40 on it and kind of uh, you know, rub it and then put some like Dawn or something, some kind of soap, and then finish like pre, it actually disappears.
Preset.
Yeah, the
I
spaghetti
tell you, we are
disappears.
more than realtors. We figure out everything.
Yeah, yeah. Also, flashlights. I know a
Yeah.
lot of cell phones have flashlights, but internally. But I always had flashlights because now with the time change, we still show houses at 6:30, 7:30, 8:30 at night, and it's super dark. So, and
Hmm.
there are
And
some,
they are homes with no
yeah,
lights.
and especially the rental houses, they tend not to have electricity. And you're still having to show the house because everybody gets off of work at 5:30, your clients, and you're showing a house at 6:30. Well, it's already dark. So take some
Yes.
flashlights with you as well. And you can buy them at the dollar store. You don't even have to spend a lot of money. Just, you know, anyway.
And I always say now it's super courteous hand sanitizer, extra face masks for both your client and the listing agent. It just gives a good, or the actual listing seller, good impression when you're going in. You're taking care of their property. And then rain boots. You may be dealing with land or the
Flooding.
weather again, flooding.
Yeah, I had a situation where I was showing a house, and all of a sudden it rained so much that the curve got really wet, and I mean full of water, and and it looked like a river. And my car was parked on the opposite side of the street, and there was no way for me to jump over the river, you can say, of the street. So the my clients had parked in the driveway of the house, and they asked me, they go, and they had a pickup truck, and they asked me, of course it wasn't raining anymore, but there was still water, and I said, hey, can you give me a lift? And they're like, sure. So I climbed on their bumper of their pickup truck, and they drove me towards my car. Of course I wasn't wearing no rain boots. and I have and I have those nice dress shoes. Well, I learned that they're not that great when you step in water.
No, quite
So,
slippery.
so it's always handy to be prepared. You know, you're going to have some
Yeah.
adventures when you're new, especially if you're new agent, you're going to have a lot of adventures. When you're a seasoned agent, you're going to learn so much from your mistakes.
Yes, thank you guys for having me. Does anyone have any questions?
Oh, I wanted to add too, to make sure that you have an IABS signed by your clients prior to this. That's really critical for you to have an IABS, which stands for Information About Broker Services. I know some of you are new agents, and you learned in school, real estate school, that the IABS is very important to have signed and presented to your clients. So I would suggest, what I used to do is, if I, let's just say you meet them quickly on a, let's just even say it's an open house that you were doing, and then they were waiting for you after you were done with the open house to go see a house. I suggest you print out some IABSs and leave them in your car. That way you can have them ready to go for them to initial.
Super important. Questions?
Yeah,
18 people, questions. Thank y'all for coming.
just make sure that your phones are not muted, or your devices are not muted if you want to ask a question. Oh, another thing I was going to show them while we're waiting for questions is the public ID. You're going to hear that a lot when you're doing schedules. And the public ID, whenever you're logging into a system, or I mean scheduling a showing, the public ID, what they're referring to is what is your HAR login. So for example, I can go to search agent. Anybody can do this, and then type in your name. And see, there says one match results, and then you do a search. My public ID is Loeta F. We also call this an MLS ID. But the old realtors like myself and Rachel, that we've been a realtor for a while, we kind of know what a public ID is, but they also call this an MLS ID. But we typically just say public ID. And whenever you send your public ID to a listing agent to schedule an appointment, what they typically do is they'll come in here, click on agent, and then they'll either type your name or the public ID. So for example, mine is Loeta F. They go, okay, yeah, Fernando did pay his bills. He's active. If it doesn't show up, that means you did not pay the hard dues, and they're not going to approve you to go show the house. Okay, so that's the way that works. Just wanted to add that a little bit, because I know it's confusing with what does public ID mean. And all that means is your HAR login, not your password HAR login, just your HAR login. Okay. So does anybody have any questions before we wrap it up? I know everybody's enjoying this nice cold weather.
I see one in the chat just asking if Showing Smart has a new phone number. Same phone number. It is now called Showing Time, but same phone number as Showing Smart was. The 713-977-7469.
That's a good question. Thank you for the question.
Same number.
Yeah, what you ought to do too, guys, is go ahead and save that number. That way y'all have it handy. And Rachel, do you know if when you first call in, they don't know who you are and you have to kind of identify yourself, or do they kind of know who you are? Have you experienced that?
Oh, I love calling them because they know who you are. They greet you.
No, but I mean, like when you're a brand new agent, do they still know you?
That's been a while.
Yeah, I know it's been a while for me too. I think you're gonna have to register. Like they may ask you some key information, just so they can set up the system for you. And then the next time you call, then they go, "Hi, hi, Rachel. Hi, Fernando." That's the way they say it. How can I help you?
With Texas United.
Yep. Okay. Well, looks like there's no questions. So Rachel, if they have any further questions, is there a number that they can call you or an email?
Yes, you can always reach me on my cell phone, 832-207-3799.
So 832 what?
832-207-3799.
Okay.
Or my email, Rachel Lopez, your realtor @gmail.com. All spelled out. Rachel Lopez, your realtor @gmail.com.
Can y'all see this, Rachel, on the screen? Okay, well, thank you everybody for joining. Appreciate your time. And hopefully you got some good information out of here. All right, good night. Thank you, Rachel. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.